Well, good Sunday morning, everybody. This is my day off, so I'm going to work on the boat just a little bit. Now, once again, I started the project and forgot to turn the camera on, but I think I can explain to you what I've done here. Now, I'm going to mount my bottom machine, my fish finder. Special thanks to Staff Sergeant Reuben, who gifted me this thing. Now, I've had fish finders before, bottom machines, but I've never had one this nice. I mean, this thing is awesome. If you remember the video when I showed it, that's it right there. Now, this has side imaging, GPS, all that kind of stuff. So I'm gonna have to learn how to use it. But that's cool, very cool. Thank you, Reuben. And when I get totally done with the boat, I'm gonna thank, I've got a list of everybody who has contributed to it to help me with this, and I thank everybody. And we'll get to that later. Now, I've had several people say, well, boat's running, how come you haven't been fishing? Well, a little bit more to do. I don't want to take it out on a day fishing until it's 100%, which is almost there. I ordered a set of new spark plugs. They came in last week. Got some adjusting to do on the throttle. I talked to Frankie at Frankie's Marine up in North Alabama. He told me how to do it. My buddy Scott Lee will be back on, I think, Tuesday. He's got a day off. He can come over and help. And we're going to put the new plugs in, adjust the throttle, all that neat stuff. And once I get this done, should be able to get some fishing done. And I got to rehook the motor lift, and I'll talk about that later. But what I've done, this is the mount that came with the fish finder. That's the mount for it right there. I want it right here where I can see it when I'm running down the river. I'm idling around looking for spots, looking for structure, whatever. Now, when I get on the front of the boat, I want to be able to turn around in my chair and see it. So I've seen people that's got them mounted that way so they can see them in the front of the boat. But to going down the river, because this one has a speedometer and, like I said, the GPS, all that kind of stuff on it. So I don't want to have to look over at it. So this is this material here is some old cutting board, a dollar store cutting board. Doesn't cost hardly anything, $1, $2, something like that. I cut some pieces out, matched them pretty close to the mount itself. Now, underneath here, I put them together with a stainless nut and bolt, and the spacer in between that allows it to spin is a brass nut. I'm trying to use all stainless or brass for everything for obvious reasons, because it'll rust. And what I'm gonna be able to do is, when I get ready to get in the seat and go fishing, I can just turn it this way and I can see it from here. Now, the only drawback with that is the wires, the transducer wire and the power, are supposed to come up through the bottom. But what I'm going to have to do is come up from the outside and put me a hole here somewhere and come up with some kind of grommet to allow that wire to move back and forth, which I don't think it'll be a problem, but we'll see. Now, the nut and bolt down there, I mentioned it was stainless. That is a self-locking nut with a Teflon in there. Got ants in the boat already. Y'all, this is Florida. It's damp, it's wet, we got bugs. Can't get around them. But anyway, the next thing I'm going to do is I've got to open up the back panel again and run the transducer. Now, I've watched Lowrance has a YouTube channel that shows all kind of different stuff on how to how to install these. And I watched that video twice. It's pretty straightforward. Here's the cables right here. Let's see, that's the power cable, which will go under the dash into the fuse box. It only plugs in one way. Same with the transducer cable. It'll only plug in one way. So I've got to mount this in the back. And this is a big transducer. I've never seen one this big. But anyway, it's there. All the hardware is there. And I'm going to try my best to show how I hook it up. But first I got to get the back panel off and get the cable run up in here. Be right back. Now, here's the transducer cable. This hole was already here. There's one here and one on the other side, which whoever had the boat before me had it there for some reason. Now what I'll do, I just made it a little bit bigger so this will fit through. I'm going to run this cable all the way back up. Back around through. There's another hole and grommet there to go all the way up under the console. Then I'm going to take, this is a piece of 3/8 fuel hose. I'm going to split it right down like that. And then I'll wrap it here and make myself a little grommet. And I'm going to leave the sharp edges on here to help hold this in, because it's going to be a real tight fit getting it in there, which is what I want. And then here, when I get all done, I'll put some silicone around it so no water will get down in there. And then we'll run the transducer, the cable here and down, and we'll get to that in a little bit because I don't know the exact location just yet. So now I could go buy a package of different kind of grommets, but why should I do that when I can make one? Now you'll see the fuel hose grommets here and there all over the boat in the end. So alright, let me get to running this cable back up there. It's going to be a little aggravating, and I might say something that is not family friendly before I get done. Be back on the next step. Now I got the cable ran up under the console with plenty of slack. I'm going to show you how this homemade grommet works. I had to drill another hole down there because I couldn't get it through where the main wiring harness goes through. I did the same thing, same kind of little grommet. Put it like that. That fits very tight. And I'll silicone that up when we're done. Now this part here, hang on, camera gonna fall over on us, isn't it? Now the transducer will come here. Down there, when I get it mounted in the final position, then we'll pull all this slack here and fasten it here. Believe it or not, this is the hardest part of hooking it up, and it's not really that bad. Don't y'all love my camera work? Now, hopefully there's enough light to see this. Now, what I'm going to do is mount the transducer. And I've got it measured out here. It has to go as close to the center of the boat, as much in the water, if you will, as it can. So on this other side over here, that might be why my old one, the other one, didn't work. Wasn't in the water far enough. But there's already some holes here. Now I've already kicked the motor all the way this way, and it'll fit. It won't be in the way. So I'm going to take this screw out that was there, and I'm going to put it back in because it was already there. Put a washer on it. this little bracket here. Okay, the transducer's got to go behind it like this, so that wire will run up in that little slot there. We're going to put that there. There's another piece that goes in there. We'll put that in a few minutes. Let's see, let's hand start that like that. Give it just a little bit. Get it started. And before I tighten it up, I'm going to put a drop of silicone in there, just for good measure. Now this is a self-tapping screw that came with the hardware kit. I want it level right in there somewhere. Right about there, so we'll straighten it up in a minute. Alright, that is not a self-tapper. Alright, hang on, I got one. There we go. Now I'm going to put a little dab of silicone on here, just for good measure. It probably won't never leak, but never hurts to be safe. I'll run this one in, I'll take that one out and do the same thing. Now I'm doing this in short increment clips because it is hot out here. There we go, right there. And let's see, I gotta get, that's a different size, so I better get the other side. And there's another piece that goes in here and it sits just like that. Now, with the heat, of course my breathing problems, on top of that we have the Saharan dust is hanging over us out here. Makes it hard to breathe. Who knows what kind of bugs are in that thing. Anyway, do the same thing here. I'm going to take this out, put a dab of silicone and put it right back in. Alright, I'm sitting down doing this part, which is okay. I just don't know if I'll be able to get back up. Okay, that little piece goes there. Let's see, that goes in there. See, maybe it goes in there first. This is one part that the video and the book does not tell you exactly how it's done. There we go. Got the little slots machined in there with plastic. Nope, not right yet. Alright, let me fiddle with this a minute and we'll come back to it. You get the idea. It just all fits in here together. There we go. Transducer is mounted. Alright. Now I probably won't show this, but I'll just put some little plastic ties here and here to hold this all up. Now let's move to the front and work on that part of it. Alright, maybe I got the camera where you can see it. let's go ahead and hook up the main unit here. Let's see, from what I can read and see, it just snaps in place here. Yeah, that ain't gonna work. Now, I'll put some screws in here to mount this permanent when I'm done. Let's see, maybe do it this way. Well, maybe not. No, this still got the pivot to it here. Let's put it down here. There we go. Put that little clip down like that. I think. There we go, like that. Oh, I see. Little tabs right there you push. Alright, so I want it set just about like that while I'm driving. When I'm on the front fishing, I want to turn it like this. So I can't use the, let's see if I can see. This will come up underneath here. I can't use the cables in the little holes that they have here. That'll go there. And to spin it around, I need to make sure there's enough play. So I'm going to drill me a hole about right here. Right about there. And drill them big enough to this to go through. This is the biggest one. Power lead goes here, so I can put them both through there, and then I'll make another homemade grommet to go here, and I think that'll work. Alright, let me find me a drill bit big enough to do that. Well, there we go. That was easier than I thought. I just had to get in there and lay down underneath the console and run the leads up through there, which it was, like everything, harder getting out from under there than it was to get there. Alright, homemade grommet here. Now I'm going to mix up some epoxy a little bit and put around the edge here so it won't move. I'm there, and I can pivot to there just like that. Now the wire sticking out here, I'll just have to be careful not to get a line or a hook hung in there, but that shouldn't be a problem at all. Now I'm going to take some, I'll take this back off. Even though this is down with epoxy, I think it'll hold it just fine. I'm going to put a couple of brass screws in there, make sure I hold it, and come up underneath here and put a screw. And that's going to be way too difficult to try to video, so I'll show you what it looks like when it's all done. So there we go. This is the power, which all I gotta do is put some connectors on there and plug it into the fuse box, which is underneath here. Transducer cable is hooked up. I'll get all that tidied up back here, put my cover back on, and it has a simulator mode, so we'll look at that here in just a little bit, make sure it works. If it don't work, it looks cool, don't it? It'll work. Be back in a little bit. Time for another cool off break. It is bad hot out here. Alright, later in the afternoon. It got so hot out here today that I had to go in and rest. Now I've got the unit sitting on here. Everything looks good. I've got the power hooked up. I have power. I'm going to have to get one of the kids over here to help me with the programming part of it, because I do not have a clue. We'll look at it here in a minute though. Now this is just stuck down with epoxy. I'm just going to drill some pilot holes right here. Drill a pilot hole there. And I have some stainless screws here. There we go. Just make sure this don't go anywhere. Move that around that way. I'm pretty sure it wouldn't go anywhere with that epoxy on there, but just in case. Mechanical fasteners always better, I think. Alright, the back stuck. I think those two will hold it just fine. I think there's no need in putting any more in there. Now, let's see, I got the camera perched up there. Let's get it down here. Now I'm going to mix up some epoxy and just put a little bit around the edge of this to make sure that my homemade grommet don't come out. I'm going to do the same thing in the back where I made that one. And I'll button it all up. Turn the power on right quick, show you what it looks like. And there we go. Now I've got to get the book out, and like I said, get one of the kids to come over here and help me with this thing. Alright, didn't do anything. There we go. Loading charts. This is the part that I don't understand, so we'll see about that. Turn it off. Oh boy, what is that? There we go. Got it turned off. Well, there we go. The bottom machine is hooked up. I can see it from the front. I can turn it. I can see it from there. I'm very happy with that. Now, thank y'all for watching. Thank you for your support. And once I figure out how it goes, when we get it back on the water, we'll show you that. Did I show you the transducer hooked up? I think I did, but anyway, there it is. If it ain't too dark to see it. That's a big transducer. I'm telling you, that's a big. And I've seen them put them on other boats, so oh well. Thank y'all for watching, and I will see you next time with whatever else I come up with. Heavy shop week this week.